Hello there, my name's Stephan and I'm a software engineer at Grover. I'm going to talk a little about how I got into tech and share a little advice. I mainly work on the front end, but hopefully this will still be useful to you even if CSS isn't really your cup of tea. So my story, I left school when I was 16 and around about my late 20s I thought it might be worth getting some qualifications. So in 2012, I started a degree in computer science with the Open University back in London. And the material is really interesting, but it's very theory heavy. I didn't really feel like I was getting much practical real world experience. So fast forward to the end of 2017, and I'd had a rough couple of years and knew I wanted to make a big change, either go traveling or move and work abroad. But then I pretty much randomly found an advert for a coding bootcamp here in Berlin called Spice Academy. And it's a 12-week course to get you ready for a career. And pretty much that afternoon, I handed in my resignation at work, booked flights and sold everything that was too big to fit on the plane. You might want to think about that sort of decision a bit more, but it worked for me. So I graduated from Spiced and I really enjoyed it. It was really, really intense, but it's exactly what I needed to get some real world experience and some projects done. And after that, I basically just started applying for jobs like crazy. I tried to apply to at least 10 jobs a day, and then I would either work on personal projects or go to meetups. And around a month after that, I got offered a position here at Grover as a junior front-end developer. And I get to work with really talented, supported people. I've learned a lot and I get to make some really cool stuff. I think the most important thing if you want to work as a developer is that you have to be passionate, because I love programming and it's a pretty comfortable job in that I'm not carrying boxes around in the freezing cold like I used to. But at times it can still be really stressful. There are going to be weeks where you're just banging your head against a wall for days trying to get something working. And I think you've got to be willing to climb over those walls. I can teach people to program, that's easy, but to teach people to be motivated and to practice is a lot more difficult. So, as for advice, if you've never coded before and you don't know where to start, there is a ton of free resources online. Sites like Code Academy and Free Code Camp. You don't need to install anything. It's completely free. You can get up and running there. And there's plenty of resources on YouTube. Have a look on Meetup. If you live in a reasonably big city, there's usually loads of groups for all kinds of levels of programming. And you can meet some great people to work together on things. One other thing, if you're looking at buying books, you want to buy books that cover concepts rather than technologies, because they will get out of date straight away. I bought a book about a certain JavaScript library that was out of date a month before it was published. But you can look at books like Clean Code and The Pragmatic Programmer, and these books were written 10, 20 years ago, and they're still really relevant and useful today. So next, definitely get some personal projects going and get them up where people can see them. You can put them up on GitHub, Code Sandbox. If they're smaller things, you can put them on CodePen. Make something that you think will be fun or interesting. You could have a go at making your own version of an app that you use every day. It doesn't have to be super ambitious. You can start off making a single section or even just a single little component. But don't make a to-do list, because they've been done to death. It's such a big plus if I'm interviewing someone that they have a project that they can show me and talk me through the code and show me what they used to build it, things that they found really fun or things that they found really difficult. I want to emphasize, learn what you need. Web development moves really quickly, and certainly as a beginner, but at every stage you can be really overwhelmed thinking you need to learn every little thing. So if you've picked a project, learn what you need to build that project, and then you can go out from there. One thing I found really useful was to reach out to companies that, even if they weren't hiring, ask if you could speak to the dev team or come on site so you can get a feel for what an average day's work is like. see what kind of tools they use, how they work alongside different departments. Yeah, it's really useful. So lastly, when you are being interviewed, make sure you bring a notebook and a pen. Chances are you're going to get some technical questions that you don't know the answer to. But instead of saying, let's say they ask, have you ever used GraphQL? Instead of saying, I've never heard of it, ask them about it. Ask them how they've used it, why they chose it over a different technology, and then make notes about it. And then if you have another interview and it comes up again, you can give more an informed opinion about it. Okay, that's it from me. Good luck with your learning and your job searching. I know it can be disheartening times and you'll likely get knocked back. But if you work hard, I'm sure you're going to smash it. So cheers.